Hey there, crew. Welcome back. We'll be setting up our final 2 weeks of February in today's work bullet plan with me. If you've been following along in the past few weeks, or if you're new here, the way that these tend to go is I'm setting up 2-week work sprints inside of my appointed task planner. I've been really loving working inside of this task planner and finding a good way for it to mix and match along with my bullet journal and following the bullet journal method. Both of these are somewhat following a similar type of method, at least in a lot of the indicators. We'll talk about a lot of things migrating this week as we get prepped up. We're actually going to start today inside of our task planner and just setting up these 2 weeks. This tends to be the really fast and easy part, as it is very much focused on productivity and getting things good to go. And then the second part of this video will be focused on our bullet journal and setting up a really fun weekly. We have all kinds of stuff we're throwing at this week. We're going to be playing with some distressed inks. I just got a ton of new stencils from Sunny Streak, a whole bunch of them. We'll be using to set up our weekly spread along with our distressed Oxide today. We'll also be using a fluid writer today for inside of our bullet journals. We set that up, and with some of the extra ink that we're going to have, I'm actually going to do my pen of the week with this Dryden Fountain Pen. This has a cartridge inside, and we're going to be refilling that cartridge and getting this pen ready to go for the week. Let's go ahead and start inside of the task planner and get this party started. We're just using a regular old pen. We've got our Uniball Signo Dx. Love using this pen here. All right, and this is how we set up this past week. We had our team capacity over here on the left-hand side with just some events that were happening throughout the week. I have a bunch of tasks in here, some that I got to, some that I needed to actually refocus on. We'll be migrating these to next week. And what we'll be doing today is really getting everything planned and good to go inside of here. We have a number of events that are coming up this upcoming week. We'll actually just go back just a little bit to our overall. This is in a way replacing a bit of my future log inside of my bullet journal. I'm just laying everything out on this big one here, but I am also doing my 2-week sprint planning on this larger calendar page. So over the past 2 weeks in February, we've been focusing on 3 main things. The first is our living org chart. This is something I've been putting together, which I actually accomplished. Really excited for that. We have our comms plan template. So this is something that I'm continuing to work on. We'll actually carry into this week. And then just looking into a mentorship program that we have here at work. I didn't get to this one of these past 2 weeks. A number of other things took priority, but do want to get to that before the end of the month. I recently just did a huge rehaul redesign inside of my studio. We'll be doing a studio tour in the future, but I found a really great way to reuse some just office storage that I had all the post-it notes inside of here, and I'm going to be using some of these post-it, these notes by post-it, as I've been doing. I've really liked it. We've been using the in this order, but this week I'm going to be using the do one that are here, and we're going to go ahead and use this for this upcoming week. This week we have Valentine's Day going on. We also have a work conference that my team is attending on the 15th and the 16th. I have a number of tasks that I needed to accomplish that I already did, setting up the group chat, the group notes that we're going to be taking, and just kind of organizing and making sure everything is good to go here. Those tasks aren't on here. They've been in a number of other spots over the past 2 weeks. Then also we have a holiday on the following week. My birthday's on the 23rd, a number of tasks and things that are going to be coming up that we actually need to put inside of here just to get myself up and ready to go. So we're actually going to be doing a kitchen remodel here at home. I can't believe it. We have Valentine's Day. We also have my one-on-one with my boss on that day. I have a design community leads meeting that is coming up. We're actually planning for an all hands that's going to be the following week, where I'll be presenting. So a number of tasks and priorities that we've been focused on for the past few weeks finally coming to fruition. And then we'll be setting up, I'm just going to write this in here for March, a number of things that are already going on, but I have a lunch and learn that I just signed myself up for, working on productivity toolkit. So excited for that. I think that covers everything here. So the big to-dos for the next 2 weeks, we're going to be focusing on that comms plan template for sure. Only thing I don't like about using these squares is that I have to write a bit smaller, but I guess that's just how much space I have there anyway. We're going to be looking into the mentorship program, and then I have my all hands decks that I need to put together for a few things. All right, so that's everything here. So then what I like to do really is just make sure I'm coming and I'm translating and bringing over a lot of the same information here that I need to focus on. And then while I'm doing this, I'm just going to go ahead and set up the next following week, just since we're already working off of this 2-week sprint. Big thing is that I'm off of work on Monday the 20th. I've already gone ahead and moved any meetings that we had this day. but I'm actually just going to set a reminder for myself just to double check on this upcoming Friday, just to make sure everything's moved. Then on Wednesday, I have my design community leads meeting that's going on. My birthday, the big 4-0. Holy crap, I can't believe it. And that's everything that we're going to need for those 2 weeks there. I'll be filling out those tasks in my off weeks that we do, where we really just set up our bullet journal and prepare, not really taking on the last few months planning like we're doing right now. All right, so I think I got all of those things inside of here. So my next step is going to be taking any of my tasks that I didn't accomplish this week and moving them over. So I'll go ahead and migrate them. I'm going to do this in 2 ways. First, I'm going to actually move them over. As I'm moving each one, I'm going to be putting a caret. A right-facing caret. This is a common thing used inside of the bullet journal method to let you know that you're moving it to a following week. If I was moving anything into a future month, I would be doing a caret in the opposite direction and moving that as a task or a note or something into that monthly overview calendar. So you've probably already seen me use this a lot in the past and continuing to use it. Even though this isn't necessarily a bullet journal, it doesn't mean you can't use the method as a part of it. So let's go ahead, move everything over. Now, there are a few things that I really need to make sure that I'm getting to. One that I've been carrying over for quite some time, which is the mentorship program. So I actually have this really cool looking Deco Rush tape. This is neat because it's kind of like washi tape and kind of like a sticker. And it also very much looks like the whiteout tape that you can use too. But what's neat about it is that it has a little icon on it. So instead of using a sticker or something like that today, I'm going to go ahead and just use this little tiny finger. You can see that or not. So that's what we're going to be using here. And that's just going to remind me, Mark, you really need to get this done. I could also highlight it and do some other things, but that's what I'm going to do this week. All right, now let's actually go over into our bullet journal. We'll take a look at this past week. So this is what everything looked like inside of here. I've been mixing both of these together, rapid logging inside of my bullet journal and kind of keeping big work task over here. I'm just going to go ahead and peruse through real quick, just see if there's anything in here that I need to double check on, and then add it over into my planner if I need to, just to get it out of here and into the same space. All right, I've moved over a handful of things. These are a number of videos that I actually need to start working on, so I'm going to move them into this upcoming week as a note for myself. I've also been trying to keep kind of like a traditional, non-traditional, digital, non-digital, analog, non-analog way of keeping everything top of mind. So really for me, it's about putting it in a bunch of different places. These are a handful of videos and reels and stuff that I need to make for some upcoming collaborations. Now I also have this inside of another notebook that has all my ideas in it, but these are a little bit more of like, I need to do these things. So what I have, and I just refound these again after cleaning up, were these cool squares from MC Squares. And what's neat is that they're whiteboard squares, and then you can use these Tackie pens, which is cool because unlike regular whiteboard markers, these write and erase, but after like a few seconds it dries, it doesn't easily wipe off. So I need to do a new video that's coming up. Well, one that I need to record, which is going to be a studio tour. And I'm going to be matching that with a Hive Keep giveaway. So you're going to want to definitely make sure that you're subscribing and getting notifications. If you're not familiar with Hive Keep, I use these all the time. They've been so helpful in helping me just organize my stationery. I have them on my shelf below. I have a new one that I have, which I'm kind of putting materials into as I do these videos. That's right next to me on my desk. So I need to set up that studio tour, and then we'll do the giveaway as a part of that. I also have a reel that I need to make, 2 different reels, as a matter of fact. Another one for Hive Keep, and then another reel I need to do for Hive Caps. What's cool is that Hive Keep has the big organization, but they also have these small caps. A lot of the times they are used in tattoo shops to hold ink. I'm going to be doing some work with watercolor and ink and things like that using these too. So you'll be seeing that reel come up. If you don't follow me on Instagram, make sure you definitely do. And I'll have it probably all over the place. YouTube shorts as well. They're all going to be here. And then I have another reel that I'm working on for Zinnia, and that's going to be for their Mac app. If you didn't see, I had a video from this past week that I released that was showing you my procrastination checklist, and we use Zinnia, the Mac app, for that. So make sure you check that out if you haven't already. So now in front of me, since I reorganized my space, I have this whiteboard. Yes, these are whiteboard Post-its, kind of, these hard ones, but I can easily move them around if I need to. And like I was saying before, after this dries for a second, they don't kind of wipe off of here. So I like it a lot. And they're magnetic on the back, so I can just stick them on this magnetic whiteboard. And that way it just stays top of mind now. All right, so let's go ahead and we'll close up our task planner. That's good to go for the next 2 weeks. Now we need to set up our bullet journal for the next 2 weeks. So we'll flip over to this page since I used the other. We'll write down the page numbers that we skipped over. I have that in a different spot just to remind myself whenever I have notes or other collections to add to those pages instead. I don't usually skip pages, but when it comes to weeklies, I like to start fresh and I like to start kind of right where I am. And especially for this week, because we're going to create a really fun weekly spread across the page. So you may have seen in the past, we've been using Distress Oxide, which essentially is just an ink pad, but it's water-based, and then we use these brushes to brush them over top of stencils, or you can create really cool colors and gradients on pages. Well, I used Sunny Streak stencils a few weeks ago, and what was cool about it, I tagged them, and then I actually won a gift card from them to get some things from their shop. So I went in, and they had 2 different ones. I had a weekly layout 1 and a weekly layout 3, because I actually think I have some of the other ones. Now, I kind of mixed them all together inside of here, but I really like the hexagons and these shapes, which I thought I could use. And then they have just a bunch of these other templates that we can use inside of here for like these weekly setups. So usually with these stencils, the way that people use them is with a pencil or a pen, but they also work with these inks very well. So I'm going to be using this one. So this one actually has a weekly spread up here. So similar to what we set up in our own bullet journal with our kind of areas, right, for our task and whatever else. Well, this exists. So we're going to try this. So this actually works in an A5 size notebook, and you just line it up on your page. And then usually you would use a pen or a pencil to trace inside of these lines. But we're not doing that. We're going to be using our Hickory Smoke Distressed Oxide in here instead. So what we need to make this happen and make this work well is we need to have our stencil, and then we need some washi tape just to kind of secure it onto the page here. And then we have our Distressed Oxide here that we're going to use. So we are going to set up Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday over here on this side. So pretty cool. We just need to kind of line these up on these lines. They work pretty well. This one does come outside into the margins a little bit. Just a slightly little bit nervous about how well this is going to kind of go on because it's so close to the edge there. I think that will be okay. We're just going to try to grab onto whatever paper we have here. I'm using the washi both to help secure it on the page, but also to cover up anything that I don't want to potentially get the ink through any of these. So I had that little number letter thing back there. I just want to get these 3 things here. So let's see how we're gonna do. I'm gonna go ahead and put this on here. I actually have a whole video coming up in just a little bit. Excited to show you how to use distressed oxides inside of your bullet journal. A lot of people like, whoa, I didn't know that you could do that. And I say to them, neither did I until I tried doing it. Okay, so we did the left-hand side of the page. So let's go ahead, pull it up, see how it worked. Heyo, look at that. Super fun, super easy. I love that. All right, and then we're gonna go ahead and do Thursday, Friday. I guess I could do a Saturday and a Sunday over here too. The stencil already has it on here. It's kind of lined up and ready to go. There's nowhere really for this to grab. Then I'm just going to put a little extra security over here for it. I'll hold it on there. I think we have everything lined up pretty well. All right. I think we should be pretty good. I think it did move a little bit on me, but not that much. And then just to show you why I love this stuff so much, is that we can go ahead and just take all the washi off of here. Because this is a water-based ink, you can go ahead and just take a damp paper towel, or you could use a microfiber cloth, whatever you want to use for it. Pretty cool, right? Then we have our whole weekly already set up inside of here. We didn't have to worry about going over any of those lines or anything else. We just went over them with the Distressed Oxide. That's ink on the page, right? Once this dries, like regular ink, we are good. We don't wear anything smudging or doing anything else. So not too shabby. We're going to be coming back and using one of the other distressed inks with actual stamps in just a moment for this. But before we do that, let's go ahead and get our fountain pen set up and our ink. Speaking of microfiber cloth, could I just use that? So we're going to be using electric patina, which is this like purpley color. I'm a big fan of Birmingham Pen Company. So you'll see it right here. It's this very cool dark color. I love writing with it. I didn't know that I was going to at first, but I just love the way it looks. It's super dynamic and fun. So we're going to be using that in two ways. We're going to be using that inside of a fountain pen, which we're going to fill up real quick. And then in just a moment, we'll also use this with a fluid writer. So a fluid writer essentially is like a monoline pen. You put a little bit of ink. You can also use this for watercolor if you want, right inside of this space here. And it's going to allow you to draw. It has a very fine tip on it. Somehow it doesn't just come flooding out. It's all magic. So we'll be using this today for the days of the week, just to use some fun things. And then we'll be using this Dryden Fountain Pen with just as our daily writer throughout this week. This will be like our go-to pen for the week. So I'll put this to the side because we're going to be very careful with that because, you know, ink gets messy. So what I have are these little syringes. I love using these because it keeps things pretty clean. I'm not going to put a ton of ink inside of here. I've just been kind of finding that like I get bored. I'll save a little bit of that ink for our fluid writer. Yeah, so I get bored with ink colors after using them. And, you know, you would think, okay, well, doesn't this just like use it up really fast? But they don't. It's pretty long lasting. And this is why I love fountain pen inks. And I know why a lot of other people do too, is because they're fantastic. So I'm going to put that in here and I'm just going to sit this over here just for a second like this. So some of the ink can go through the feed and we'll make sure that it's usable in a few minutes. I'm going to come back over here. So I have a little bit of ink left inside of my syringe. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a little bit of ink inside of my fluid writer. Ooh. Oh, too much ink in my fluid writer. Oh, save yourself. Oh my goodness. I made a mess. You don't need a lot, friends. This is why we also use things like reusable cloths to catch all that ink. You can always expect fun here on this channel, and I'm going to show you my mistakes. That's just how I roll. All right, so we are just going to write the days of the week over here. So as you can see, very fine mono line here. All right, so we have our days of the week, and then I'm going to go ahead and just write a header down here for notes. We're good. We'll let that dry for just a moment. Let's move this off to the side. And then I actually have a new little toy that I got over here. This is actually for dip pens to clean them out, but it's also a bit of a pen holder. So I'm going to go ahead and just sit this over in here because that's going to have to be like fully cleaned out to make sure it's good to go. But I'm just going to put it in there for now. We like making messes over here. They're fun messes, right? Inky fun messes. Today is called Mark being extra. Using all the fun stuff. And I smeared my Saturday. So. All right, we're going to use some of these fun numbers over here I have just from one of my stamp sets, which is just really a collection of a bunch of different numbers that we have going on. We're going to be using these big numbers here. Be double checking that I'm doing it the right way. Yes, I am. So we're going to start on Monday the 13th, and we'll go all the way through. We're going to be using a different color of the Distress Oxide, which is Faded Jeans. What's cool about Distress Oxide is that you can use it for blending. You can just also use it as a regular stamp too. And I also have my stamp Shammy here. You see me use this in the past. It's just a really nice and easy way to clean off your stamps. Just a reusable Shammy. It's really all it is. Now that our Wednesday is also messed up, A good reminder, essentially, that, you know what, not all inks are created equally. And this ink specifically doesn't play well with water, and not all of them do. So we had a nice little finger smudge there. But we got all of our letters inside of here, and we can actually try to fix this just a little bit. I'm not going to worry about Saturday. That's just what it is. But Wednesday, I can get rid of a little bit of this smudge with one of my fancy erasers. All right, making sure that our hands are totally dry, because that's what happened. I had a little bit of water on my hands, and then it, didn't work out too well. So we have this Tomboy Mono sand eraser. So it has some grit to it. And what's cool about it is that you can get rid of ink that's on your pages. As you can see, is it a perfect solution? No, but it got rid of at least some of the big streaks. All right, so now we have all of this going on here. We will do our overall updates. I'll take a handful of items and put them in here from my task planner, mostly just updated events. Any type of home things that are going on, I'll also sit inside of here too. So events for my kids, or any type of other social media things that I have going on, I'll add in here as well. Kind of keeping a little bit of separation between my work journal and my personal work journal, if that makes any sense. The task planner is for work, officially just for work. The bullet journals for everything else. Now that we've had this upside down for a little bit, just gonna make sure that the ink is flowing through. I haven't used it in a little bit of time, so just making sure the ink's flowing through everything. We're just gonna write with it. I cleaned out my pen not long ago, so it should be all good to go. Yep. So we are set. So excited to be using this inside of my bullet journal. This is a super affordable pen from Dryden. I've really enjoyed working with it and using it. And like you saw earlier, we can just refill cartridges with any ink that we want. It also comes with a converter, but sometimes I don't feel like messing with converters, And then the last thing that I need to do, because I always remember to do this last, is set up my capacity planning for the week, where I use my fun Xyron Create a Sticker. I printed these off, just a real quick template that I can continue to use. This pops in here. Pull it through. It makes it into a sticker. Any piece of paper or any type of item you put in here, it turns it into a sticker. And now I have my capacity tracker for my team. Hopefully you enjoyed everything from today's video. If you want links to any of the items that I have here for you, I'll put all of them down for you in the descriptions below. The task planner, the bullet journal, I have discounts for you. You can get 10% off at bulletjournal.com by using my discount code MENWHOBULLET10, and then you can get 15% off at Appointed using MENWHOBULLET. And again, all of those direct links down for you in the descriptions below, as well as all the materials that we use today too. It's always a good time, always having fun. This is what I love about my work planner. I make it what I need it to be. It's awesome. So I hope you have a great rest of your week. Happy planning for you, and I'll talk to you very soon.